We are so pleased to introduce Flying Changes magazine as a sponsor of this episode. Flying Changes is a print and digital magazine that services sport horse enthusiasts in the Pacific Northwest.
With a nice balance of community news, events, training, and competition articles, and local and professional photography, the magazine is not only a premier publication, but a direct line to the horse-loving community members in the Pacific Northwest.
It's a bit of everything with something for everyone. Visit them at www.flyingchanges.com.
And look for them on Facebook and Instagram at Flying Changes Mag.
My name is Shariah Harris. I am a polo player, and you're tuned in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians.
I am a young black
equestrian.
I'm a young black equestrian.
I am a young black equestrian.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Young Black Equestrians with your hosts, Abriana Johnson
And Caitlin Gooch.
And we are here today with Shariah Harris, who is a polo player and an intelligent Black woman, okay, because she just graduated from Cornell, but we will hear more about that as this episode goes on. So welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, Gab. Beautiful.
Twins.
Oh, you guys are cute. All right, so let's start off with something that you are thankful for today. Shariah, if you want to go first.
I'm thankful to be starting nursing school. That started for me this week. So I'm thankful to be starting that, even though a couple weeks into the semester, I might not say the same thing, but thankful to have started.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What kind of nursing do you want to go into?
Eventually, I want to be a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
But for now it's a RN to BSN program. So yeah, hopefully I want to work in the emergency room and trauma section. So, yep.
That's cool. Thankful. Caitlin, what are you thankful for today?
You probably have an idea of what I'm gonna say. I'm thankful for real friends. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that at that.
Yes, that's always something to be thankful for. Today, I am thankful for perspective. Just like, so I left my job a couple weeks ago, and then I went back today to start training people, and I kind of felt like outside looking in, and like, you know, everybody was like melting, and I was just like, this is great. Like I just felt so light and airy, and just because that having that perspective shift. So that's what I'm thankful for today. It makes me realize my decision was the right one, and it pushes me to kind of continue with that. So
Good.
Nice.
It felt great to leave out of there knowing you didn't have to stay for like a certain like deathly hours.
Yeah. I was just like, I think I'm gonna leave. I'll be back tomorrow.
See y'all when I see ya.
Yes. Well, all right, let's go ahead and get into our episode. Tell us where you're from, what you do. You kind of told us a little bit, but just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm from Philadelphia. I live in Upper Darby, and I play polo. Got started with that through a program called Work to Ride.
And that is located in Philly still, right?
Yep, in West Philly.
Okay.
How long ago was that you got started and Work to Ride?
gosh. I was about 8 or 9 years old. So
Wow.
06, 07.
Mm.
That
Yep.
gives
So I
them.
did,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I just did that from the time I was 8 or 9 until I graduated high school, and still involved in it today.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just imagine when Sev graduates high school? Sev is one of the little cowboys that comes around, and he's 3.
Oh,
So I can't wait to see that whole process.
he has some time.
Yes. And so how did you go from playing at work to ride to playing at Cornell?
So, we would travel around. We always traveled because we didn't have the facilities or the horses to host games at our place. So we will always travel around to Maryland. And we will always travel to Cornell once a year and play their high school. And, as we became a better team, their college team. And so that's how I got exposed to what Cornell was, because I had no idea about Cornell until we went up there and played them. And when we played them, I kind of got talked to by the coach asking, what's my future goals? Where do I want to go to school? And he was like, well, why don't you apply here? It's like, well, I never thought about it, but sure. And I looked into it. I was like, oh, this is hard to get into. And I was like, oh, it costs a lot of money. But then, I did my research about their endowment and their need-based aid that they give. And, I applied and I got in.
Wow. Do you think if that coach didn't approach you, you would have applied?
I would like to say I would have, because by the time I was a senior in high school, I was set on going to a polo school. I wanted to go play polo in college and win nationals and all that. And Cornell was the top 1 or 2 women's programs for polo. So I think eventually I would have applied there, but he kind of talked to me about it when I was a sophomore or junior in high school. So that planted the seed, and then I did my research. So when it was time for me to apply as a senior, I was like, okay, I have my list of schools, I'm ready.
So are there men's and women's teams?
I was just thinking that. I don't know why I thought it was like together.
Yeah.
It is. In college is the only time where they separate you by men and women's. But growing up, I played on the open team, which is the mixed team. I played on with guys against guys growing up. But in college, they separate you.
I mean, I guess the only difference is how hard you could possibly hit the ball. I don't know.
Yeah. And
it's not like in football, like the dude definitely run over the girl. But we on horses, man. We level out the playing field.
All right. The guys are rough though. They play a little wild, but it's fun playing with them.
Interesting.
So have you ever thought about doing any other disciplines?
We dabbled in everything. Les, the director of Work to Ride, she exposed us to everything. We did the pony races, show jumping, steeplechase races, hunter shows. We did a couple Western shows. So we got to put our foot in the door in a lot of different disciplines. But I like the adrenaline rush of polo. So I think the only other is jumper shows. That's the only other thing that I've gotten close to the adrenaline rush that I get from polo.
That's interesting.
What did you say? Steeple something?
Steeplechase races.
That?
So it's not a flat race. It's a horse race, but you go over jumps while you're racing each other.
Oh,
well, okay.
It's you should Google it. It's a high adrenaline thing too.
I'm like, that sounds like fox hunting, but like
yeah.
We're all
kind of like fox hunting, but racing against everyone else.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did fox hunting too. Yeah, we did a
Well,
little bit of everything.
That's
we're exposed to a lot
Yep.
of.
yeah, as at such a young age, you know. Do you find that a lot of people that came up through the Work to Ride program either went to continue riding or to kind of majority or most people kind of just stop once they were done with the program?
I would say majority kind of stopped, but everyone is still connected. Like they'll come back every so often and ride and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, but I can only think of about 4 or 5 of us who went on to college to continue polo and riding and stuff. But
Mhm.
majority, stop after the program, but
Mhm.
always still come back
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah, that's cool. So how is, I mean, you kind of alluded to it already, but how has writing kind of affected your life as a whole?
I like to say that I wouldn't have gone to Cornell if not for polo because that opened my eyes to what Cornell was. And also just the exposure that it's given me, just the perspective it's given me of what else is out there. Because, living in Philadelphia, you don't think, oh, polo is a big thing. You think about the brand Ralph Lauren, but you don't think about horses and polo and everything that goes with it. And also the people that I've been exposed to, the different places I've been able to travel to. Um, Polo was the first time I got to travel out of the US and got on my first plane ride. So it exposed me to a lot that I think would have taken me longer to do. And it just gave me that head start at an earlier age.
Where did y'all go out of the state?
Nigeria and Argentina and England.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
all for competitions.
Yeah.
Go back in time and go to Work to Ride.
Ew.
It's a great program that I accidentally found. So
How was that? How was that an accident? Like, obviously your parents were not like horsey people. Like, how did they kind of send you off and let you be great and something that some people think is just so crazy?
my mom got lost in the park and found it. So it was very accidental. Yep.
Oh, that was ordained.
Yeah.
That was meant to be.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
You don't
And
just get
myself
lost
and
from the stable.
exactly. So myself and my two other siblings, we all went up through the program.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Did your siblings play in school, or did they continue to play like in college or something?
Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you. My brother, what is he now? He's a sophomore. He's doing community college first, and he wants to transfer into a polo school.
Mm-hmm.
And my older sister, she fell off from it, but she played all throughout high school.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Not everybody can say their siblings joined in on the equestrian fun.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes me think of like when you do icebreakers, what's it called? 2 truths and a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And people will be
It was-
like, I'm from Philly. My favorite color is red, and I used to play polo. And then people,
Yeah, I was like, that's a lie.
that's a lie, right? It's like, no, it's not.
True story.
True story. So talk about how it was kind of being on a collegiate polo team. Like, what was that experience like?
It was difficult, trying to find that balance between practice, games, and school work and studying. And I also had a job while I was at school, so trying to balance all of those. It was difficult. My freshman year, I struggled, like most people, until I figured out how best to divvy up my time. And that's really what it was. Just time management was the biggest thing for me to get through college. It was hard trying to balance going to games, being away for a whole weekend for a game, and trying to, study or submit an assignment that's due that weekend. So it was definitely a challenge, but I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Mhm.
I love being on the team. I love playing polo. And even though that brought its own stress, it was still a release from the school part of everything.
Right. Right. So how did you always want to be a nurse, or did you kind of choose that later?
This was a decision I made, I think the beginning of this year, the beginning of my senior year or a little bit into it. I graduated an animal science major, so I came in on the pre-vet track
Yes.
and soon discovered that I didn't want to do that. Um, but I continued with the major because by the time I decided that, I was already done my major requirement classes. So I just finished up with that. And it ended up
Mhm.
working out because a lot of my animal science credits and classes transfer over for the
Mhm.
science part of what nursing needs. So,
Yep. All those
it,
chemistries and
yep,
biologies and
yep,
calculus. Yes.
hmm yep. And they were
Cool.
like, oh, that's fine. And I just had to take human anatomy senior year to, balance out for the animal anatomy I've been doing for the past 3 years. But
Right.
that wasn't, I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was easier because, I already had some type of anatomy.
Right. And it's only one animal. It's not
Right.
to
Exactly.
know all the animals.
That's what I always tell the pre-med people. I'm like, y'all are just learning about humans. I have to know cats, dogs, horses, cows, goats, sheep, and birds. We learned a little bit, pigs.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
hmm
And they are not the
They have it.
same.
No,
In any
No.
no.
They have it so easy.
Yep.
Um, so what vision do you have for the future in writing? I mean, you just graduated. Like, how are you gonna stay on your game?
Well, thankfully, I've been playing basically every week this summer, outdoor polo with Leslie and the pro using the horses from the program
Mhm.
and entering in tournaments and people asking me to play with them. So I've been able to play this whole summer, and I think I think this past weekend was the last thing I had on my schedule
Mhm.
to play in for this summer. But in September, I'm going to be playing in a big women's arena tournament. But after that, I'm not sure. There's always the barn. I can go up and ride anytime I want to. It's
Mhm.
just to find the time to do that
Mhm.
when nursing school kicks in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Um, do you like go back and do any sort of mentoring or anything like for the kids that are coming through the program now?
Yeah, it's weird for me to call myself a mentor because I feel like I'm still learning so much. But yeah, I'm always at the barn with the
Mhm.
kids. Well, not always, but when I have time, I'm up there more than once or twice a week. So always see them, happy to see them. They're happy to see me. And I played with a couple of them for a couple games this summer. And always giving tips where I can give them and helping them develop their game and giving them tips to do something better than what they were doing. And just little things that I say to them that I see that they take to heart sometimes and follow through with what I tell them. So that's fun to see sometimes,
Mhm.
to see someone listen to advice that I give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids need that positive youth development.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to see it from someone who was in the same shoes as them and not just like this teacher that's just telling them what
Yeah.
to do. Like, I was you 10, 12, 15 years ago. So
Right.
do what I
And
say.
I think that, right. And I think they heed my word a little more because for all of them who are in the program right now, when in my last year or two, they were in the program. So there was overlap between us. So
Oh, okay.
that definitely makes them a little more receptive to what I have to say. I'm
Mhm.
not just this figure that they don't know they don't know who they are. They just hear about me and I'm just coming
Mm-hmm.
telling them what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Uh, so speaking of things that you tell them, what advice would you give aspiring equestrians of today? If they wanted to get in the polo, if they just wanted to get in horses, what would you tell them?
I think first, if you want to be good at whichever discipline you're in, ride different type of horses. don't get comfortable on the same horse or the same type of horse, because you're never going to develop that way. And people love to see people love to see riders who can ride the challenging, difficult horses, who can ride almost anything, who have that fearless streak. And also, as a minority coming up in the sport, I would say to open yourself up to people, even if you're in an all-white setting. Don't be intimidated to approach them and talk to them and try to, intermingle with them, because as people who, majority of the sport, you're going to need those connections to further develop yourself.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if I just shared something on Facebook. It was something about, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
That, your network can get you a lot farther than, some books.
Yeah.
It's very
Agreed.
important to be able to interact with people in different settings. So that, because you never know, even if they can't help you themselves, they might be able to direct you to somebody who can.
Exactly. So that's something I wish I would have taken heed to a little earlier, because I was very quiet, reserved, kept to myself, didn't go out of my way to talk to people. And not that held me back, but that I could have made some connections. You never know, that I didn't, because I was so quiet and, to myself.
You live and you learn. I'm sure in nursing school, you will be out there and getting those connections.
Yeah, I've definitely come out of my shell.
Oh, good.
More, yeah.
Good. So how do you feel about the kind of surgence of, seeking out equestrians of color for, amplifying? I'm so tired of hearing that word, but amplifying Black voices of equestrians of color. Like over the last few months, I know that's been kind of a big thing. So have you felt any of that? Have you had people reach out to you in that regard?
Just a few, just a little bit ago, but I think it's something that's like, well, it's about time, but also kind of a little resentment, because the only reason that's coming about is because, the whole Black Lives Matter movement and how strong and powerful that voice has become, to where now I feel like companies everywhere, even outside of horses and stuff, are looking for those Black faces to put up, like, hey, we have diversity, we have it here, we're not like that. So I think if that's what you really were, you would have already been amplifying these voices, rather than now that it's, it's a call for action for it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we were on a call yesterday, and this guy said, I look back at, or he's like, I'm not sure that we've had any like models of color or whatever, I would have to look back. And I'm like, well, if you did, you would know. You would be able to say that confidently. Like, why do you have to look back?
Right.
And a certain industry or a certain association was like, we're trying to collect data to see what. And I was like, why do you need data? Just look outside. Go to a show. Like, what data do you need to support?
Right.
Okay, you want to get concrete numbers? The numbers are below 1%. Like,
Right.
you know,
You want to embarrass yourself like that?
right. Like, I think we can have some qualitative observations here. You don't need numbers. You can see.
It's like, you don't have to give me the numbers. I can see for myself what it is.
Right.
Like, we see this and we're telling you that y'all ain't got it. You don't have to go look.
Yeah.
Go find a picture from when? 2001?
Yeah. Look, we had one. Okay.
Yeah, it's just one though. Just one.
Yeah, just one. So Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Caitlin and I have talked about this several times. Just like you said, the resentment, like, now y'all know,
Yeah.
and then the sort of like tokenism, like, oh, hey, look, we found one, guys. Look,
Exactly.
right here. This is a nice one. We got us a good one.
Mm-hmm. And then it's just because they have that one, they think that they've done enough, and it's like, no.
No.
You don't stop there,
No.
or use that. Oh, because they do it, y'all have no excuse to do it. So it doesn't work like that.
No.
Man.
And I'm not sure about what is it like U.S. Polo Association? Does that exist?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I didn't want to like just make that.
So I'm making up stuff.
But I don't know like where their like stance is, because I don't think they've been involved in any of the conversations that we have. I don't think that doesn't ring a bell. But do you see anything from them? Do you see any like step forward in that direction of trying to be more diverse from them? If you haven't paid attention to it, that's fine also. But
no, it's something that they say that they want to do, are going to do, but it's not. And polo's also difficult because it is such an expensive sport and you need horses to do it. So that's where it gets held back a little bit, because to reach these, inner city minority communities, you have to look more towards urban cities, and just to get a setup there or a club that's going to be able to sustain being there is difficult. So they have talks of wanting to do it, but outside of the Work to Ride program, I don't know many other Black teams that are doing this. If there's one or two Black women or Black men who are doing it, but as far as majority of them, I believe they're coming out of our program.
Yeah. I did. Someone just tagged us a couple days ago in the Morehouse polo team that just started. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I was working in Atlanta, and the kid who started it, his name is Caleb. I was working in Atlanta and teaching lessons and helping with horses there, and he was one of the clients. So I had some conversations with his mom, and she was very adamant about getting the team started because he was graduating and he wanted to keep playing polo, of course, and he was going to Morehouse, and they got that started. So I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
I hope that it sustains though. And actually one of the, I guess he was first generation Work to Ride graduates, he's helping with giving them direction on how to run it and everything. His name's Richard Prather. So he's trying to help the Morehouse polo team.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see what they come up with, or how they get it done. Because honestly, like, I didn't even know, like, there's a polo team in my area, and it wasn't until we were headed to Kentucky to get the horse trailer that we saw a billboard for a polo tournament, and we were like, anytime we see horses, we're like, what? But I was like, horses on this bill? Oh, they got a polo team? What? Right here in this area. Had no idea.
Didn't even know.
Do you remember what team it was?
It was
it's an alumni team for Triangle.
Yeah, it was Battle of the Blues is UNC and Duke.
Okay, nice.
No, either one of them had a polo team. It might have changed where I went to school. No, I'm just kidding.
And I think Stanford there's a lot of schools that have it. They're just not just big names for polo, but a lot of schools have it. Brown, all the Ivies have it, and most of the Southern schools have it. Not most, but a lot.
Yeah, that's cool.
You just gotta look for it. It's small, but it's really in places that you wouldn't, never thought of, but they have polo.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, work to ride. No one would have.
Right in the middle, like by Center City. So
Yeah. All right. So we started this new segment of the show called the Derby Round, where you answer these questions as quickly as possible before we wrap up. They're really easy questions. No need to be worried. You're an adrenaline junkie anyway. You could be worried. You'll be fine.
Right. You got it.
Derby round. All right. English or Western?
English.
Solids or spots?
Solids.
Bays or grays?
Grays.
Brown tack or black tack?
Brown.
A sponge or a curry brush?
Curry brush.
Shod or barefoot?
Shot.
A bumper pull or a gooseneck?
Gooseneck.
A rope halter or a nylon halter?
Nylon.
What is your favorite piece of barn equipment?
A brush.
A brush, okay. What's your favorite piece of tack?
Stirrups.
That's important. When was the last time you fell off?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Does that happen often when playing?
For me, it does. I tend to fall off quite a bit, not as much as I used to, but I'm just always going for it. I don't really think about falling until I throw myself too out of balance, and then I just fall.
Well, I bet you got that tuck and roll down pat.
Yes. Yep.
And if money was no object, what is one horse-related item you would purchase?
Really good polo saddles.
Polo saddles?
Polo saddles. Yeah.
Are
They're expensive.
Oh, okay. I'm like, how are they different from regular saddles?
They don't have knee rolls,
Um,
so that you have better mobility to get up and swing and switch sides and all that. But polo saddles are expensive, so definitely a couple of those.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on the show today.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Let everybody know where they can reach you or get in contact with you, socials, all those things.
So let me look at my Instagram. I'm terrible. I'm not one of those people that just knows my stuff right off the bat. Okay. So for Facebook, Shariah Harris, SHARIAH, Harris, HARRIS. And Instagram is Shariah_H.
Cool.
That's about all I have.
That is plenty. That is plenty.
Yes.
Well, all right. Thanks again. And we will let you know when this episode is going live.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me.
All righty. You have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians. Head over to our Facebook or Instagram pages and let us know what you thought about that episode. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and have the opportunity to be featured in our next episode. See you next week.